Alright, listen up. Success isn't given, it's earned. On the track, on the field, in the gym.
25 years later, I was asked to invest. My neighbor said, Tom, I want you to invest in my project. I'm starting a new company. I'm gonna start a coffee shop. I'm like, coffee shop? You can buy coffee anywhere. So I decided not to invest with him. You know what he called his company? Starbucks. Okay? I'm like, I missed it again. Okay? I could never see the vision. I didn't have that talent, if you will. I couldn't not smell that. Arnold could smell that. Trump could smell it. Vince McMahon, the owner of the WWE, could smell it. I had no idea what these guys were talking about. But opportunity is going to always come to you. And I think a lot of the young people need to realize that opportunity comes to them, but they have to work for it. They can't just expect it to come to them. They've got to work for it. When you're working hard at something, people say, yeah, you were lucky. But luck is when preparation meets opportunity. I mean, I trained for years and years and years and years. I wasn't the guy. I wasn't the chosen winner. I'm standing on stage and I watched Ron Tufo in 1978 at the Mr. America contest be angry because he lost. He called the judges' names and walked off the stage. And I'm standing there going, I'm the guy. Because he walked off stage mad and angry and called the judges, I don't know, bad names. In the early 70s, mid 70s, we were all on high-fat, low-carb diets. Mainly because that's what Arnold said to do. Arnold, Draper, Zane, all of my heroes. I had all their pictures on my wall in my bedroom as a boy, okay? And we were all taught that low carbohydrates, low sugar, high fat was the solution. High fat metabolism. 1979, my first Olympia. 1980, my second Olympia. I decided that I had to change something. And I wanted to place higher than Mr. Olympia. I wanted to win the Mr. Olympia, okay? So I talked to this Mike Mentzer. Mike was very convincing to me that a high carbohydrate diet could be conducive to me. I thought about it a lot, and I adopted a high carbohydrate diet, ate 300 grams of carbohydrate a day, less than 10 grams of fat a day in 1980, and got pretty good results. 1981, same approach, high carb diet, high sugar diet, low fat diet, got in the best shape of my life. That was the answer to me. I thought back in 82, 3, 4, 5, 6, that I should keep doing exactly the same thing. In hindsight, I should have switched metabolisms. I think the secret lies in switching metabolisms, going from high fat metabolism to carbohydrate metabolism. Years ago, when life was about farmers and farms, during the wintertime, people have fruit cellars. They would have special cellars. They kept the jarred fruit, right? They would eat the carbohydrates that they stored away for the whole winter. As the winter progressed, they'd run out of the sugars and the peaches and the stuff. Eventually, they were able to function on fat metabolism the rest of the winter. Summer came along, apples and fruits were available again, and they switched to carbohydrate metabolism. So humans responded because of the climate to alternating fat metabolism to carbohydrate metabolism naturally. And I think that's the secret to bodybuilding. We don't do that enough. A lot of people do. They focus on this before the show. They alternate different days, different weeks. But I think that's where the real solution is. If I had to do it all over again, in terms of my nutrition, I would have switched metabolisms back to a high fat and back to carbohydrates more than just staying with one thought.
How many months did this with how many months in the other?
Well, I probably would have looked at more in terms of years, because I felt that being on a high carbohydrate metabolism for 2 years worked really well. And I think I should have switched to a high fat metabolism during that interim, and I didn't, because I found something that worked for me, and I felt I'd do that all the time. And that's some of the things I think about now. Now, at age 62, I have a sugar handling problem. I can't handle a lot of sugar. I can't eat 300 grams of carbs every day. We talked about this morning. I can't do it anymore. I can't. Not out of choice. If I eat 300 grams of carbs a day, I'm like dizzy, I'm lethargic, I want to sleep 12 hours a day. I'm like, oh God. I call Adam, I'm not doing too good today. I'm sleeping all day. My adrenal glands can't handle it. My pancreas, insulin sensitivity. Sugar is a problem. When people get cancer, what should they do? Get rid of the sugar. I think sugar helps everything grow, including cancer. I do much better nowadays at my age, having a higher fat metabolism. 100 grams of carbohydrates a day, maybe. Maybe I'll push it to 130, with my caloric structure being somewhere between 2,000 to 2,600 calories a day. That's me, just for me. But it's based more on fat metabolism, which I find is much better for me. I can think clear, think sharper than high carbohydrates, which I would, 20 years ago, I would have given you the opposite description. I would have said the opposite, okay? But that's some of the things I've learned. And I think we're meant to do better on fats. I think butter is essential. We forgot about, not margarine. Margarine has a half-life of 50 years in the body. It stays in the body for 50 years. Who knows what else what happens. But butter does not have to be broken down by the liver. Butter gets immediately into the bloodstream. My joints, my skin is much better with butter. I could get away with it when I was 20. When I was 20, late to beach 3 hours a day, I could look good for most of my 20s, you know, on real low-fat diets, no butter, just sugar, okay? But I found nowadays I age a lot quicker with more sugar. Now that I'm back on higher fats, I feel younger, I feel sharper, I feel better, I can train hard. I was in the gym, I was able to touch 400 pounds for 5 reps in squats. I was able to do 315 last year for between 15 and 20 perfect reps. You know, I'm not gonna go back to what I used to do. You know, I'm not 30, man. You know, I'm 62 years old. I have to really carefully plan to do those heavy squats. Very carefully plan. It's kind of fun. No, I never had a knee problem in my life. But yesterday, perfect pure technique. We talked about this yesterday. We have 2 seminars tomorrow. Perfect technique. Modern day squatting, the technique has been bastardized, for lack of a better word. The technique is about a hip thrust. People using buttocks and lower back too much, not the quads.